Okay, hopefully OBS is now recording. Yes, it seems to be. So I have only marked 2 hours per week in the schedule or weekly timetable. But if it seems that more is needed, then I can add the more hours. But I'm always available via Teams and email, and we can even have personal Zoom session if you need help. I will give you every week some set of exercises and source material you can use to do those. So hopefully you can manage. I don't like lecturing very much. I think it's quite boring. So if we go through some of the introduction and objectives before going into more details, and you after this course you should know the components of an Internet of Things application, from embedded nodes to data mining. And student can name some IoT application areas and application examples, and can add simple sensors and actuators to embedded devices. Okay, now we can't do everything due to the COVID virus, so we don't have any practical project part this year. So it's only remote teaching and stuff like that. On the other hand, there are very many students from all over the world. Some of you are very new, so the project part would be quite hard to accomplish in practice. And Teemu, you seem to be here there also. If you have any comments, please comment in any time. Then there are some IP security technology, data storage formats, databases, programming languages. We use mainly Python, Jupyter Notebook, and such things. And some data analysis tasks. This course can be theoretically quite demanding if we go very deeply into the mathematics. I try to keep it in more or less general level, just to be able to that we get the general idea of the system. Last year it went quite well. Most of you, or those who were then in this course, were able to successfully accomplish a good grade. So I'm quite hopeful that we can manage this year also. Uh, so we have two teachers. It's divided so that Teemu Korpela, whose video you can see maybe there also. Now he waves to you. uh, he is responsible for the components of IoT application and security. And I have the software or data storage and data analysis sections. And you can see the themes there. So we don't have any project. The grading will be announced later. That's about the general instructions. Do you have any questions now before going into details? Teemu, would you like to say a few words about your contribution. I can't hear any of you. Wait a minute, maybe I have some. Yeah, I have.
Okay, so hello.
Okay, now I can hear you.
My name is Teemu Korpela, senior lecturer here, teaching topics like information security, computer networks, IoT-related things, microservices, cloud services. So telecom and back-end background or related things. And when I was listening Jukka, I started to think that, okay, those topics I'm teaching are not, well, my topics are less important than those topics which belong to Jukka.
No. You can't say that.
Well, let me reason. So the reason is that anyone can collect information. Anyone can move the information. Those challenges are not really any challenges because you can get these ready chipsets, frameworks, software libraries, authentication libraries, and all those things just like that. And it's basically just combining a few different models together and you have working system. So the collecting information and moving the information is extremely easy. But now the real challenge is that what to do with the data, how to process the data, how to mine the data, so how to use the data. So basically the major challenge with IoT is the data storage and data analysis. So that's why I was saying that the Jukka's part is more important, because it's technically it's not that difficult to gather the information. For example, I think that I had a link to a small company from Oulu called Kaltiot, and I had a chat with the CEO, who is a friend of mine, and he just said that they can easily build these data sensor or data actuator systems to customers, where they gather or where they control some devices or measure some whatever the metrics they are. But the major problem is that for customers is always that how they can use that information. So they have, it's difficult to them to find new customers and sell them the idea that, okay, do you wanna collect temperature values from your factory or something like that? And their first question is that, well, why would we need that? Or what is the reason to do that automated control to do something, whether it's positioning and location services or something. So there's all sorts of hype and fancy snake oil companies and advertising related to IoT. And now there are plenty of providers selling hardware and all sorts of frameworks and software. So it's not very difficult to have your system up and running and gathering information. But what to do with that information? That information must have some value. And that value is often only visible if you process that value and information properly. So that's why I always see that in this course, my part is just those rather easy ways and general principles of how to collect that information and how to move that information, while Jukka's part is the critical part, how to analyze the information, how to store the information for means of machine learning or some other purposes. Okay, anyway, let's see if I can share my screen. Yeah. I will go quickly through my part of the course and how this course works. So it's that. All right. So I suppose you see it now. So this web page, it's in public internet. There's no any authentication or anything. And the address is tlonkfi/iotcoms. And I have divided the contents to a few different weeks with a little bit different topics. And basically, the beginning of the course is about embedded Linux systems and computer networks like IP network, because it's easy to say that IP is the most common protocol to move information now, unless it is last mile and the closest thing to a tiny sensor node or actuator using Bluetooth low energy or something like that. So something about computer networks and embedded systems. And I have created virtual Linux servers for everyone. So if you haven't, or if you are completely new to a Linux command line, it makes this course a little bit harder to you then. So there are all sorts of mixed materials available how to use Linux command line. If you are already familiar how to use command line, then you can, well, there shouldn't be any problem to use those Linux servers. So I have created individual Linux servers, Ubuntu 2004 LTS versions of Linux to all students, which are inside our campus network. So you need to have a working VPN connection so that you can establish remote connections to those hosts. And I will distribute these Linux servers on next lecture, was it Friday or so. So all the students who have enrolled to this course will receive a server for the duration of this course. So first week about Linuxes and computer networks. I think second was also some demonstrations. I used to do this, I don't know, I have done thousands and thousands of pages of PowerPoints in the good old times, and I have lectured with those PowerPoints. But now we are trying new things. So I mainly, during those lectures, I'll try to just demonstrate things, do as practical things as possible. So instead of just having these long monologues with PowerPoints, I will just demonstrate things.
Yes, I can agree.
Because I have these support hours, and you can always email or you can always try to contact me with Teams. So I can try to help you with Teams or via email if you have problems or questions.
Yes, I will also can add those.
So same thing as with Jukka. And then yeah, it was week 2, week 3 socket programming. So how to a little bit. This is related to computer networks. What are those sockets? How to do socket programming? The protocol analyzer, how to analyze traffic. So now when you have these ready systems, if something doesn't work, you must know how to use protocol analysis and how to recognize those different protocols and analyze that. Why doesn't this work? Very critical part of IoT systems. Then something about higher level IoT protocols like MQTT, blah, 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 and the security part. The security part is unfinished. I have rather long security hobby or information security related hobby. I've been following this field quite long. and I'm not satisfied with this content, weak content here. It's too much web security related. Sorry. So I'm gonna go through all these questions and links and tasks, and I'm gonna modify this a little, at least a little bit, so that it's not just web interface and web related. Because it's missing some key elements like cryptography, so encryption and authentication, well, encryption systems, and nothing about authentication there, and so on. So this course week is not ready. And yeah, so that's it. That's the contents of my part. And I have already a couple times I have referred to a learning diary. So what is learning diary? It's a diary you must document your findings and whatever you did. And now the common problem is that there's a question or task, and you just quickly Google that and copy paste the answer. And you don't learn shit when you just copy paste something from the web. So when you document your findings, this learning diary, try to use your own words and thoughts. And that's enough. When you do tasks, take a screenshot, whatever you did, and add that screenshot to your learning diary. And after the week number 7, the last week is used for peer reviews. So this learning platform called Moodle Oulufi, it has this learning diary submit box, which you can use to submit your learning diary. And then during the last week, your learning diary will be automatically randomized to 2 other students. And those students will read your learning diary and they will grade it. And same thing, you will receive 2 learning diaries from other students of this class. And it's your task to read the answers they have done and documented, and then set the grade. I'm going to instruct you later about this system, but this is how the grading works, at least for my part of the course. So the Finnish grading system, because we have exchange students here, the Finnish grading system is from 0 to 5. The 0 is failed, and 1 is lowest possible grade, and 5 is the best possible grade. And we have this grading matrix, that what kind of style and what kind of quality is expected. It's not very difficult to grade this. I have used this system multiple times in the past, and now because there are 2 students who will grade someone's work, almost always those 2 students, they will select the same grade. The system just works, trust me. And so this is how you can pass and this is how this grading works, and how to pass the courses, just to document and learn these things. Your timetables, Jukka was showing those earlier. So was it 4 hours on Friday, at least?
Yes, I think so.
For this week.
Yes.
I noticed that sometimes these timetables may vary depending which week it is.
Yes, they are they seem to be quite random for me, at least.
Yeah. So I suggest that you always check your timetable for incoming week, because if it was Friday last time, suddenly it may be something like Tuesday or so, and that's not something we did, but it's the administration who did those timetables to classes and students just did their magic, and we are now using those systems. So always verify that when are those next classes from the timetable. So learning diary. There are templates available for your learning diary. remember with your own words and thoughts, no copy pastes, because you don't learn anything with that system. And first topics, we will start from course week 1. So I'm going to lecture and demonstrate all sorts of things on Friday, and I will distribute those servers to all students. So you have your own Linux servers by then, or at least after the Friday. Any questions, comments, problems? Oh, let me see.
Yes,
They are
hello.
in chat.
I have a question.
Yep.
So yes, except for week 7 that you mentioned that is not finished yet.
Yes.
The rest of the courses, after you give us the servers, can we work like ahead of schedule? For example, can we finish 7
Absolutely.
weeks in 4 weeks?
Absolutely.
Like, so the courses, except for week 7, they're finished. We can work on them.
Yes. So the only critical deadline is because the system doesn't allow me to use Moodle to randomize those learning diaries after the course is over. So you can pretty much, if you are really fast, you can finish all these contents within 1 week, or if you want, and then just wait and submit your work in the end of course, and that's it. So you can advance faster if you want.
All right, same question for the data analysis.
Yes, it's possible.
So they're finished. We can work on them already.
Yes, only first 4 weeks are ready now. The rest of those are still under construction, but in principle, when I get those ready, you can do those, all of those.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish the week number 7 quite soon, so it should be ready within 1 or 2 weeks.
Yes, I think for me, so also it takes week or two to finish those exercises. I have something, but I would like to make them a little better than last year, so that's why.
And one of the major challenges of this course is that, for example, now when we have exchange students from very different background and with very different background skills and courses,
Yeah.
Don't you must form these study groups if you are struggling with your studies. So even if it's not mandatory, but let's say that the Linux system and Linux command line is completely alien to you. If I were you, I would locate other students and try to solve those tasks together. The learning diary is always personal, but nothing stops you from forming these informal study groups and solve these tasks together if you want. It's strongly recommended, but not mandatory.
Yes, that applies to my parts also. Those are personal.
Any other questions? I will stop the sharing if Jukka wants to continue.
Okay, I don't think what I would say, Teemu, you were very thorough with your presentation. Maybe I just say a few more words about my part. So I share the screen now. So here are the data analysis part. Here are some books. Maybe we can say something about this O'Reilly collection. You can register here in this link. I think you need VPN for this. I'm not quite completely sure. But you should be able to register. Then there are 2 links. There is the source handbook, and then all the exercises found in this link in this book can be found in this second link. And I have also a weekly schedule. Now we start quite lightly, just a few exercises for the first week. And then there are some theoretical questions and some Python exercises for every week. Some of these are graded, some are not. Those that are mainly program installs are not graded. You can use either your own computers or those Teemu's Linux servers for these Python things. And so there are 3 weeks ready now, but I think it takes some time, even the fastest of you, to do all those. And there are weekly deadlines here, but they are not strict. But I will go every week with these themes in my lessons. The only deadline which is not negotiable is October 31st, after the autumn break. I give you even the possibility to finish your work during the autumn break, but then it will close permanently. That's the ultimate deadline. Same for the data storage. Now I know that most of you are more than familiar with MySQL. But again, like Teemu said, there are maybe students from other universities or other parts of the world who may not. So I have some MySQL exercises here, because it says in the curriculum also that both SQL, relational and non-relational databases. So something about those is here. Then there are MongoDB tutorial and exercises. And then I need to fill in the rest of the weeks in the near future. But for the first week, which ends in Sunday, you have just some relatively easy questions related to IoT. So this first week is not that hard, and I'm not going to give any lectures today. I hope you can manage with these exercises by yourselves. But like I said, I'm always available, and I can also add more lesson hours to the timetable if it seems to be needed. But let's start with this system, and if it works, then it's okay. If more help is needed, then I can add more hours. There are questions in the chat. Are there anything we should answer? You can also use your microphone to ask if you have. I don't know if I have forgotten to say something. I don't think. I'm afraid this my video recording now may be a little bit a mess, because I have 2 monitor system, and the first part of Teemu's discussion I had my own screen in the recording, but I will try to edit some kind of working version. Hopefully, okay, it's very nice that there are 50 participants here, so I think all of the, or most people who are participating in this course have been here, I think. So it is not that bad if the recording was messy. There was some problem with the Zoom Zoom permissions, I couldn't imagine that my account that has been working for 2 years at least is not working correctly. I'm really sorry about that, but that's quite normal in the beginning of the semester. Yes, you can upload a Python file, or if you have GitHub account, then you can link it to your GitHub or some version control page. They can be, the different codes can be in one file or separate files. It doesn't matter really. But of course you have to mark it somehow in the files where the different exercises. There are some A, B, C, D, E, F, G parts. Then they are mostly one-liners, so then they can be in one file. Is there any other questions? I may add some control hours for Thursday evening. Maybe. I have to check my schedule. By then you have had time to familiarize with the exercises and maybe you have questions. I think I add at least for this week. Yes, that's a good note from Teemu, so you should join this course in Peppi. So it's quite silent now. I think we can finish this first meeting if you don't have any. Okay, I just quickly check the Thursday schedule. I can. How was your timetable? I can add to the afternoon, for example, at 3 or 4 o'clock, a control hours if needed. Maybe it's better to do so. If you have questions, check your timetable for this week because it may change. I will add there something. Okay, emails. Let's write, and then the Teams page address also, I guess. Wait a minute. It's over here. Teemu has made it. And wait. Maybe I should shorten the link. It's so awfully long. Wait a minute. Okay. Yes, you can send GitHub links. I will add to my instructions. Hopefully that this one works now. Yes, it seems to be working. So that is the Teams page.
I was thinking that. Do you think that we need to organize these study groups if there are students who wanna study as a part of study group, but they just don't know who to contact or how to form these groups?
Yes, maybe, but I have to admit that I don't know how to do that. Maybe we should have a short discussion after this session with you.
Yeah, those. I think at least my support hours are not.
No, they are not the same. At least in the timetable days.
I think that mostly I have those support hours. Let me see. I don't remember anymore.
Okay, maybe they are on Tuesday and Thursday every week. Yes, it seems. Your support hours seems to be on Tuesday or
and Thursday.
Yes.
I think that those are always almost same time. Anyway, I'm using computers all the time, and usually I don't follow these common, working hours anyway. So you can pretty much contact me during weekends or evenings or nighttime or mornings, and I can usually reply quite fast.
Yes, it's about the same.
For real-time support, those are the hours I'm always available.
I'm also online most of the time. I have some contact teaching hours when I'm not able to respond. They are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings usually, from 8 to.
Let me verify those.
Midday.
If you use, there is a service called Lukkari.fi. So
yes,
that address contains timetables for all classes, and the exchange students, you are studying together with class DIN 20SP. So if you search that 20SP timetable from that service, 19SP. So if you search DIN 19SP from the timetable, you can see those support hours always.
Okay, I share the screen so you can see it here.
Yeah, okay.
This is this week's timetable, and as you see,
I have those same support hours for other classes too. The problem with these support hours usually is that I'm there waiting and idling, and no one is asking anything.
Yes. That's why I haven't marked them, because usually it's just like that.
But at least they are now reserved time slots. They are available if someone wants to ask or needs help.
Was it possible to search for the teacher also? Yes, I think.
Yes, it is.
So if you want to look at Teemu's old timetable, so at least you can see here when he's available and when not. So at least for the foreign students using familiar with this, I think our students know this already.
But if the history repeats itself, it usually means that hardly any students are contacting us, even if they are struggling. But please don't hesitate to ask help if you need.
Yes.
So that's our job to try to help you to learn these things.
Yes, you are already quite advanced students, so I know that you have programming skills and many other skills. So I'm quite convinced that you can do the exercises quite independently, most of you at least. So I hope you don't need very much lecturing in the traditional sense.
And I just noticed that if you study IoT systems too much, you will lose your hair.
Yeah,
So
and gain a lot of weight.
yeah, that too.
So be careful. I don't know if they are really related, but we have been teaching this for, is it the third time now?
Yeah.
Yes.
But at least the 2 previous times those were just quite successful or went fine. So I suppose this goes well too.
Yes, at least I don't
Student feedback
remember.
was fine.
Yes, I don't remember that there were any
Major issues.
major issues. Yes.
Okay. At least if you don't have any other questions or problems, I think that's all.
Yes, I think so too. There are also WhatsApp link. Is this for this course maybe?
Yeah. So is that WhatsApp link to
DIN
class?
19 or
what's that link?
I just created a link if people want to help each other, or if there is any question, we can help each
okay,
other.
that's great.
In WhatsApp.
All right.
That's great.
Yeah, great.
I just dumped WhatsApp from my phone, so I'm not using it anymore.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all then. So
yes, Telegram is what I use nowadays because it works on the computer also.
And you probably noticed that if you haven't used Teams before, so I have created a Teams channel for this course. It's called IoT course OUT 21. So if you have great links or discussions, you can always use that Teams channel.
I sent the link there.
And I think that you received automatic invitation when I added you to the class. I need to go one more time to check that if there are any new students who are not yet in that Teams group. But I'm gonna post that link to chat. So let's say that you have a question and you think that this also concerns other students of this course. Then you should probably post your question to this Teams chat.
Okay, I can share that screen for those.
Yeah. So then you can. Yeah. So this Teams chat. Then if you post questions over here, everyone will see those questions, and whatever will be replied goes also to everyone. So usually I'm using Teams also for different courses just to post all sorts of IT related articles or some other information.
And I'm also following Teams all the time when it's possible, when I'm on the computer. So I usually respond quite fast if I'm not teaching other classes.
And those lectures on Friday, I will use YouTube Live because the quality is rather good compared to Zoom or Teams. And I will just post the YouTube Live link to Teams channel, so you can use that link to join and watch the lecture from YouTube. And all those lectures will be recorded, so if you cannot attend, you can watch all those recordings later. Okay, I suppose chat has been quiet and no any questions, so that's it.
Yes, I think so too.
All right. Have a nice evening and bye.
Bye bye.